Hi guys! The Washington Post has published an amazing article. Native Americans have an ancient agricultural technology which allows the humanity to survive the upcoming climate change. I know it sounds ridiculous and you're ready for total cringe, so let's go! Indigenous people have known for millennia to plant under the shade of mesquite and palo verde trees to mark the Sonoran Desert here, shielding their crops from the intense sun and reducing the amount of water needed. The modern-day version of this can be seen in the Santa Catalina Mountains north of Tucson, where a canopy of elevated solar panels helps to protect rows of squash, tomatoes and onions. Plant your food under the solar panel and the problem's solved. I wish it was a joke, but it's an actual leftist project. Can I have a better proposal? Why don't we make a transparent car and grow some strawberries under the trunk? I mean, it makes sense to utilize the lands for both agricultural and energy production, and I have nothing against solar panel, but how many tomatoes can you grow under one of those solar panels? 4 pounds per year max? If the price of tomato is $1 per pound, you can earn additional $4 per year, which is nice, but if you look at that construction, it's pretty clear that you have to invest lots of money to be able to build that scaffold to hold the whole area in the air. These are all made of expensive steel, and I would speculate that you need to add at least $100 per panel. Would you invest $100 to be able to get a $4 per year? The cost has never been a consideration for green Marxists. And solar panels is the least popular way of producing energy. Don't get me wrong, people do install those kind of things on the top of their roof, and it's probably a very nice way to power up your summer house. But no one really builds solar power plants. There must be some reason which left doesn't want you to know. And the reason is very simple. One wind turbine can generate the same amount of energy per year as 48,000 of solar panels. This is really no-brainer. Okay, who is the guy behind this scientific invention? Someone named Gary Nabhan. According to the article, he's ethnobotanist and agrarian activist. I had to look to the Wikipedia to enlighten myself about these new green terms. So, ethnobotany is the study of a region plants and their practical uses through the traditional knowledge and local culture and people. Of course, traditional knowledge is much better than scientific knowledge. Native people who didn't manage to invent alphabet know it better. What are the biggest challenges of that science? Many instances of gender bias have occurred in ethnobotany, creating the risk of drawing erroneous conclusions. Anthropologists would often consult with primarily men. Traditional knowledge is gender dependent. Our civilization is in a serious trouble if you can get a degree in that kind of a crap. Now let's look what is agrarian activist. This term is very confusing, so I need to use Wikipedia again. Basically, it's a branch of Marxist Maoism which argues that we all should return to small, egalitarian farming community like in Papua New Guinea. Thanks, no. Southern Arizona is an epicenter of the movement not just because of the intense environmental pressure of that region faces, but because of the presence of Tohono O'odham Nation southwest of Tucson. Look at this picture. Tohono O'odham, or whatever is the preferred pronunciation, farmer Sterling Johnson has long worked to spread knowledge of the nation's farming practices and ancestral values. Can I spread some Slav squat practices or ancestral vodka drinking? I would like to get paid for that. The Tohono O'odham have farmed in the Sonoran Desert for several thousand years. Like many indigenous groups, they now are in the front line of the climate change, with the food insecurity is a paramount concern. Growing food in the desert is always a concern, but let's look at the climate change data. Maybe we are getting tricked here. Here is the official weather.gov webpage. You can click on the Tucson and check the temperature by year. You can clearly see the increase of 2 Fahrenheit, which is about 1 Celsius, if you compare 50s and 60s with the last 20 years. And you might assume that the place is getting drier because of the higher temperatures. But let's check the level of the precipitation on the same website. Well, it varies a lot from year to year. It can be 5 during one year and then 15 in another year. But if you compare the past with the present, I would argue that it's getting a little bit more wet, definitely not drier. Okay, I will tell you the secret which the Church of Global Warming trying to hide from you. Warmer temperatures lead to higher precipitation. We don't have any counterexamples at that point. You can go to Climate Change Knowledge Portal, which is definitely a leftist resource. Take any country for which the temperature got increased over the last 100 of years and then observe that the precipitation level actually follows. Another uncomfortable truth is that global warming is different across the globe. It is getting significantly warmer in the temperate zone, where most of the Western societies are living, and it actually benefits a lot the local agriculture. But if you look at tropical and subtropical zones, they are very little affected by the climate change, contrary to the belief of the left. Here, for example, the United Kingdom. You can see 1.5 degrees Celsius increase in the temperature, and you can see the 100 millimeter of increase in precipitation. Now let's compare it with tropical Colombia, and you can see it's 0.5 degree increase in temperature and unnoticeable change in precipitation. You can play with this tool and see my point. If you'll be able to find any country which contradicts my assumption, just let me know in the comment and we can discuss it. Let's continue with our article. Apparently, the teacher of ancestral values, Steven, has a partner. His partner, Nino Sajovec, directs an Ajo Center of Sustainable Agriculture, a Native American governed food justice organization that several years ago founded its own seed bank and already has distributed over 10,000 seeds to the farmers. I've checked on the Facebook, this girl is from Slovenia like Melania Trump. Why would a white girl run a Native American organization? Well, probably because Native Americans have no clue what is food justice, another leftist word which we need to Google. The food justice movement is a grassroots initiative emergent from communities in response to food insecurity and economic pressure that prevent access to healthy, nutritious, and culturally appropriate foods. This is very racist, but I believe there is no healthy and culturally appropriate food for Slavs. Johnson captures precipitation during the Arizona monsoon season to sustain crops on his field in the desert lowlands. It's using the rainwater, he explained, using the contour lines, using your environment and nature to grow food. This once common dryland farming practices was all but erased by this country's Indian boarding school system, which ripped children away from their families and severed the transfer of knowledge, he noted. The increase in interest in native ways is generally welcome, yet it can feel once again like Anglo society taking when they need something. I think, Steven, you should stop appropriating Anglo society names because Steven is too Western for you. Maybe something like Pikan Chipkan is better. And these patriarchal genes are no good. You can make your clothes in a traditional way out of top of the carrots. And you should not use hyphen because this is definitely against the traditional values. Steven, your amazing civilization didn't even bother to invent the wheel, and now you're complaining that Anglo society takes too much from you and doesn't give you anything. What a leftist crap. Thanks for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know if you want to know more about climate change. Bye.